Dialogue is a conversation between two or more people in which each person communicates with the others. It is a back-and-forth exchange of information and ideas. There are many benefits to using dialogue in sales. First, it allows you to build rapport with your customer. Secondly, it helps you to understand your customer's needs better. Lastly, it will enable you to close more sales. Do salespeople need to learn how to dialogue? The art of selling is often thought of as a one-way street. The salesperson pitches the product, and the customer decides whether or not to buy. However, effective salespeople know that successful selling is a two-way street, with dialogue between the salesperson and the customer essential to closing a deal. Good salespeople ask probing questions that get to the heart of the customer's needs and desires. They then use this information to tailor their pitch in a way that is likely to resonate with the customer. In other words, they enter into a dialogue with the customer to better understand their needs and how best to meet them. Some people may be naturally good at dialogue, but for most of us, it is something that needs to be learned. If you want to be a better salesperson, make an effort to learn how to dialogue effectively with your customers. Plenty of resources, including books, articles, and online courses, can help you understand the basics. With a little practice, you'll be well on becoming a master sales dialoguer. The best salespeople understand that the key to a successful sale is not to debate or argue with the customer, but to engage in a dialogue. When you debate with a customer, you only think about winning the argument. But when you engage in dialogue, you try to understand the customer's point of view and find a way to meet their needs. The best way to avoid debating with customers is to focus on listening. Active listening involves hearing what the customer says and understanding their needs and concerns. Pay attention to body language, tone of voice, and words. And resist the urge to jump in and start selling before the customer is ready. Once you've listened to the customer and understood their needs, it's time to start talking. But instead of pitching your product or service, focus on explaining how your offering can meet their needs. Use understandable language and avoid industry jargon. Be genuine and honest about what you can offer, and don't make promises you can't keep. By focusing on dialogue instead of debate, you will build better relationships with your customers and be more successful in making sales. When engaging in dialogue, it is important to be respectful and open-minded. Be prepared to listen as well as speak, and try to avoid interrupting or talking over the other person. It is also important to be aware of your body language, maintain eye contact and an open posture, which will signal that you are interested in what the other person says. If you are having difficulty understanding the other person, or they seem to be getting frustrated, it may be helpful to ask questions or clarify points. However, avoid doing this in a way that sounds like you are challenging or trying to catch them. Instead, frame your questions to show you are genuinely interested in their point of view. Salespeople need to understand that customers already have a lot of knowledge about what they need and want. It's the salesperson's job to help bring that knowledge to the surface through open-ended questions and dialogue. When customers feel they're being listened to, and their opinions are valued, they're much more likely to do business with that salesperson. Furthermore, by listening to what customers say, salespeople can learn a lot about their needs and wants, which will help them sell more effectively. Salespeople need to see customers as someone with the potential to learn from. Building relationships with customers and understanding their needs is essential to be a successful salesperson. By engaging in dialogue with customers, salespeople can learn about their motivations and objectives. This understanding can then tailor the sales pitch and close the sale. Good communication is at the heart of any successful relationship, and this is especially true in sales. By establishing a rapport with customers and taking the time to listen to their needs, salespeople can show that they value them as individuals. This approach will make customers more likely to trust the salesperson and do business with them. It is also important for salespeople to remember that every customer is different. What works for one person may not work for another. Salespeople can achieve the best results by being flexible and adapting their approach to suit each customer. In summary, effective selling is all about building relationships and understanding customer needs. By engaging in dialogue and being open to learning from customers, salespeople can become more successful in achieving their goals. Salespeople need to help customers understand what they want and why they want it. This can be done through a process of dialogue. The salesperson should ask questions that probe into the customer's real needs. They should then paraphrase what the customer has said to ensure they have understood correctly. Only then can the salesperson offer solutions that address the customer's needs. This dialogue process will help the salesperson better understand the customer's needs and how to meet them best. It will also help build trust between the salesperson and the customer. Mutual trust is the cornerstone of good dialogue. If you don't trust the person you're speaking to, it isn't easy to have an open, honest conversation. The same is true if the person doesn't trust you. Good dialogue requires mutual respect as well. If you don't respect the other person, it isn't easy to see them as an equal partner in the conversation. And if they don't respect you, they'll likely either tune out of the conversation or become combative. Finally, good dialogue requires a willingness to listen to what the other person is saying. This means not just hearing the words, but also trying to understand the emotions and thoughts behind them. It cannot be easy to do this, especially if you disagree with what the other person is saying, but it's essential for good dialogue. To be a successful salesperson, you must establish rapport with your potential customers. One of the best ways to do this is through dialogue. Dialogue is a powerful tool that can help you to build relationships, understand customer needs, and close more sales. Here are some tips on how you can use dialogue to improve your sales skills. Use open-ended questions. Open-ended questions are a great way to get customers talking. They help you to understand customer needs and pain points, and can also be used to build rapport. Some examples of open-ended questions include: 1. What challenges are you currently facing? 2. How do you feel about product or service? 3. What would be your ideal solution? 4. Tell me more about your experience with competitor product/service. 5. Can you walk me through your decision-making process? Use body language effectively. Body language is a nonverbal form of communication that can convey much information. Salespeople need to be aware of their body language, as well as the body language of their customers. Some tips for using body language effectively include: 1. Making sure that your posture is open and relaxed. 2. Avoiding crossed arms or legs can come across as closed off or defensive. 3. Maintaining eye contact with the customer but not staring. 4. Smiling and using facial expressions that match the tone of the conversation. Be prepared. One of the best ways to improve your sales dialogue is to be prepared for each interaction. This means understanding your product or service well and knowing your audience and what they are looking for. Preparation will help you feel more confident in each interaction and make it easier to navigate difficult conversations. Ultimately, the goal of dialogue is to find a solution acceptable to both parties. This means that you may need to compromise on your original position. Be prepared to do this if it means that you can reach an agreement. If you are engaging in dialogue to sell something, it is important to remember that the other person is not obliged to buy from you. The goal should be to build a relationship of trust and mutual respect so that even if they do not buy from you now, they may do so in the future or recommend you to others. Learn more at business901.com.